Ramannasti parayanam parataram Ramasya dasosmyaham Rame chittalaya sada bhavatu me Bho Ram Mamuddhar Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalapadaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvam Ha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. I begin the Ram Katha by first humbly doing pranams at the lotus feet of my Divine Master, Jagadguru Sri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, who was given the name Ram Kripalu at birth by his Divine Mother, Srimati Bhagavati Devi, and his Divine Father, Sri Lalita Prasad Tripathi. Sri Maharaj Ji has instilled a deep love for Bhagwan Sri Ram in the hearts of devotees. He is known as the greatest devotee of Radha and Krishna. And in the capacity of Jagadguru, Sri Maharaj Ji has shown to the entire world, for he is teacher of the entire world. He has shown to the entire world, and in fact, he is showing to the future generations also that Ram and Krishna are one and the same. And he has done it so beautifully and so quietly by installing in the two divine monuments of devotion and love, Bhakti Mandir in his birthplace Mangad and Prem Mandir in the holy land of Vrindavan, the deities of Sita and Ram along with the deities of Radha and Krishna. I bow down to the lotus feet of my spiritual master first. I bow down to Saint Tulsidas next, who has given us the Ramcharitmanas, the divine lake of Bhagwan Sri Ram's divine acts. Tulsidas Ji graced this earth 5 centuries ago. And he was going to write the Ramayan, or the story of Ram, in Sanskrit, as per tradition in those days. But then he had a dream. In his dream, he was told to write the Ramayan in the common vernacular of the people. So thankfully, he did not write the Ramayan in Sanskrit. He wrote it in Hindi and Awadhi. Consequently, even illiterate people are singing the verses of the Ramayan. He wrote it in a very poetic style. So many people have memorized the chaupais or the verses of the Ramayan. So many people sing these verses with love and devotion. And the Ramayan has been made available to the masses. It's not just the property of the few who are scholars in Sanskrit. It is the property of everyone because it is written in a language that so many people understand. I bow down to Sant Tulsidas. Next, I bow down to Lord Hanuman, who is none other than Bhagwan Shankar. It is said that Bhakta Hanuman is present wherever Ram Katha is taking place. I offer my pranams to Lord Hanuman's lotus feet in whatever form he is present here, in Radha Madhav Dham and in this mandir, Raseshwari Mandir. And I hope he's very comfortable being here. I bow down to Bhagwan Sri Ram, who appeared on earth and appears on earth in Treta Yuga. He graces the earth for 11,000 years, and he leaves behind such sweet leelas, such sweet pastimes, that hundreds of thousands of years later, even now, we are tasting the bliss of Ram Katha. Ram Katha, the story of Ram. The Ramayana is not just a story of Ram. It contains within it great knowledge of the Vedas, knowledge of the Upanishads. Only the naive ones think that Ramayana is just a story of Ram. It's much more than that. The Ramayana is no less than the Vedas. It is no less than the Vedas and the Upanishads. Just as the Vedas say, do not read the Vedas without the guidance of a spiritual master. In the same way, the Ramayana says, do not pick up this Ramcharitmanas. Tulsidas ji says, do not pick up this Ramcharitmanas. Do not read it unless you are guided by a true devotee of Bhagwan Sri Ram. Je Shraddha Sambal Rahit Nahi Santan Ko Saath Tinh Kaha Manas Agam Ati Jinahi Na Priya Raghunath. If you do not have extreme faith in Bhagwan Sri Ram, says Tulsidas ji, and if you're not guided by a saint, then do not read this composition of mine, Ramcharitmanas. Of course, we can read it from the point of view of reading the divine story of Bhagwan Sri Ram. But when it comes to the knowledge of the Ramayana, and we must acquire that knowledge, we must attain the knowledge through someone who truly knows Bhagwan Sri Ram. Jagadguru Shri Kripalu ji Maharaj has inspired this Ram Katha, and he is the one who is guiding it. He is the one who is going to guide it for all these days, for 8 days. Listening to Ram Katha is very important. But before even listening to it, let's understand that there are two kinds of listeners. One is avar shrota, one is pravar shrota. Shrota means listener. Avar means bad. Avar shrota means a bad or ineffective listener. Pravar shrota means a good listener, an effective listener. Since there are only good listeners here, I shall not talk about the bad listeners. They're somewhere out there, they may be, but here these are pravar shrota, of this I am certain. But pravar shrotas are divided into 3 categories. They are compared to chatak, the chatak bird, hans, the swan, and shuk, the parrot. Chatak shrota, a listener who is like a chatak. Chatak is a bird. And it's a unique bird. It's unique in that, just like every other bird, just like every other creature, it needs water to drink. And it does drink the water, but it drinks only rainwater. It drinks the water that falls when the Swati constellation is in the ascendant. It doesn't drink any other water. Tulsidas ji has honored the exclusive devotion of this bird called chatak to its beloved. Janche barah maas piye papiha swati jal janyo tulsidas agam sanehi deh man. The chatak bird waits for rain to fall 12 months a year, all throughout the year. But it will not drink any other water. It will drink only the water which falls during the ascendance of the Swati nakshatra or constellation. So it is an exclusive devotee of its beloved. It loves its beloved exclusively. The beloved of the chatak bird tests the chatak through lightning, thunder, torrential rainstorms. But the chatak bird does not fall out of love. It remains constantly in love with its beloved. It does not fall out of love. It doesn't think, I love my beloved, but what is my beloved doing? My beloved is having thunder, creating this thunder which frightens me. I run for cover. I have to go somewhere for cover. My beloved has torrential rainstorms arranged for me. What kind of love is that? I'm deeply troubled by that. No. The chatak bird is always in love with its beloved. And Tulsidas ji has given us the example of the chatak so that we may always remain in love with our beloved Gurudev and our beloved Lord. Tulsidas ji tells the story of a chatak. Ushna deh, ushna kaal arudeh khin, magpanthi tan bhook, chatak ruchiya nabati, anjal sinche rukh. Chatak bird was flying in the sky, and it was a very hot summer's day. The scorching heat forced the chatak bird to seek shelter of a tree. No sooner had the chatak landed in a tree seeking shade that it thought to itself, this tree has insulted my beloved. It has not been watered by my beloved. It has been watered by some other source. So I shall not remain in this tree. I will not seek the shade of this tree because it has insulted my beloved. I shall keep on flying. The scorching heat of the sun is much better than the cool shade of this tree. So thinking, the chatak started to fly once again. But the heat was unbearable. And then the chatak decided to seek the shelter of another tree by the side of the Ganga river. As it was landing on that tree, a hunter was taking shot at the bird. The chatak did not make it quite to the tree. It became the victim of an arrow. As the chatak bird was dying, it thought to itself, I have loved my beloved all life long. I have been very loyal to my beloved, and now I am dying. How fortunate I am, how blessed I am that I will have the Ganga Jal in my mouth. I will die in the holy waters of the Ganga Ji, and in this way I shall attain liberation. No sooner had the chatak bird thought this, that it scolded itself. Shameful on you, the chatak thought to itself. For shame. You have loved your beloved exclusively all life long, And now you are going to love liberation? No. I will love no other. I will not even love liberation. I will remain an exclusive devotee of my beloved. So thinking, the chatak bird turned its beak the other way around, and the jolt caused the chatak's death. The chatak fell down in the holy waters of the Ganga, but the Ganga Jal did not enter its mouth. Tulsidas ji has given us a very inspiring example on how to be an exclusive devotee of God and Guru without desiring anything, not even liberation. Chatak Shrota is a listener who does not listen to anything but Ram Katha throughout life. He listens to no other words. He does not listen to any worldly conversations. But how is this possible? How is it possible for us to become Chatak Shrota? You would have to live in a remote place, perhaps in a remote jungle. You'd have to live in a deep, dark cave where no one else lives. You don't have to listen to any other conversation because there is no one conversing with you. You'd have to live on a mountaintop somewhere where there are no other humans. So there is no question of listening to anything else. You only listen to Ram Katha all life long. But since most people are not living in a cave or on a mountaintop or in a remote jungle, most people are living in a village or a city or a town, and most people have to listen to other conversations. You have to listen to what your co-workers are saying. You have to listen to your family members. Even a sannyasi living in the world has to listen to other conversations. He or she cannot listen just to Ram Katha. We cannot listen just to the story of Bhagwan Sri Ram or Bhagwan Sri Krishna. We are forced to listen to other words. So we certainly cannot become Chatak Shrota. But then there's a second Shrota who is a good Shrota, a good listener, and that is a listener who is like a swan. Hans Shrota. Hans, swan. It is such a unique creature that it can separate water from milk. If you place a dish before the swan and place a mixture of water and milk in that dish and invite the swan to drink this, then you'll be amazed to see that the swan has separated the milk and water. It drinks only the milk, leaving aside the water. We can certainly be listeners like the swan, which means that although we need to listen to other conversations, now imagine you're in a meeting in the office. People are talking, your co-workers are talking, the manager is talking, the area manager is there also. And they're talking about how to increase the profit of the company. What are you going to do? Put cotton in your ears? Or put fingers in your ears and say, na, 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 na. I'm not listening to anything you have to say. I'll just chant Ram, 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 Ram. It's not realistic, it's not practical. So listen to them. Listen to the family members talk about this and that. Your friends will talk about politics. Let's talk about what's going on in Iraq. Talk about what's going on in Syria. Let's talk about what Obama is doing to the country. So many conversations are taking place, and you're required to take part in those conversations. Whether you want to or not, you are forced to. Living in the world as householders, you have to take part in other conversations. But do like the swan does. Separate the milk from the water. Listen very carefully when Ram Katha is being told. When the glory of Bhagwan is being recited, then we must listen very carefully. And when we are listening to worldly conversations, there's no need to pay so much attention. Then we can listen through one ear and take it out the other ear. Let's not keep anything in between. Listen carefully to when someone is talking about God. Listen carefully to the glories of God being chanted. Listen carefully, very carefully, to the knowledge of God being given. But think about God even while listening to worldly conversations. So discard the worldly conversations, but keep the godly conversations very dear to your heart. Be like the swan. We can certainly aspire to become Hans Shrota, swan-like listeners. The third category is that of a Shuk Shrota. This is a parrot-like listener. A parrot repeats very nicely. You can teach the parrot to say anything you want. You can teach the parrot to say Ram, 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 Ram. You can teach the parrot to say Radhe, 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 Radhe. You can teach the parrot to say Sita Ram or Hari Om. You can teach the parrot to say anything. The parrot will mimic you. It will repeat what you have said. And so the parrot-like listener is the devotee and the disciple of a true guru who listens to what the guru says. And when the guru says, now repeat my message, go all around the world, go to the smallest village, go to the biggest city, go to the in-between towns, medium-sized towns, small towns, go everywhere and broadcast this message that I am giving to you. Then the parrot-like listener listens and merely repeats what the guru has taught to him. So someone who has been given the seva or the service of preaching or broadcasting the guru's message should be a parrot-like listener. He should simply repeat what the guru has said. He should not add to it. He shouldn't think, I am so brilliant that I am going to change this up. I am going to add to this. I'm going to subtract from this. If he does so, he makes a mistake. The public will not be able to tell, but he will have made a mistake. And so Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj has instructed his preachers to say exactly what he has said to them. So we could be like a parrot-like listener. We can be like a swan-like listener. It's very difficult to be a listener like a chatak bird, because then you'd have to live in isolation, which is not possible for the majority of the people. The best listener is the one who listens and then reflects upon what he has heard. And then he takes a decision. I have heard that I must practice devotion. He listens to this and he repeats this in his mind again and again. And then, by reflecting on this teaching constantly, he actually becomes a devotee of God. Why is it important to listen to Ram Katha? It is important because listening is where it all starts. If we wish to uplift ourselves, if we want our kalyan, if we want redemption, then we must first listen. Scriptures and saints have said, first listen, Shravan. Then they say, reflect on what has been said. Do manan. Repeat in your mind what has been said. Revise that teaching. By revision, I don't mean change it up. I mean repeat in your mind, repeat what you have said. That kind of revision. And the third step is the final step, that is nididhyasan. Then take a firm decision in what has to be done in life. So listening is where it all begins. We must first listen. This is why Tulsidas ji has written the Ramayan, so that we may listen to the Ramayan being recited by the Guru. And if the Guru is not present, then we must listen to the Ramayan being chanted. The knowledge of the Ramayan has to be heard through a bona fide, a genuine spiritual master, an authentic Guru. But in the absence of that Guru, then it has to be heard from a servant of the Guru. Remember, the parrot-like listener. He will then tell you what is in the Ramayan because he has heard it from his Guru. Or failing that, then it is so important to recite the Ramayan, the verses of the Ramayan, because when we recite them, when we hear them, and then we recite them, then we go over them in our mind, then we become devotees of Bhagwan Sri Ram. So listening is of the utmost importance. Tulsidas ji has said in the Ramayan, and these are the words of Bhagwan Sri Ram. Mam gun gavat pulak sarira, gad gad gira nayan bahanira. When you listen to or chant my glories, says Bhagwan Sri Ram, then look out for, firstly, goosebumps on your skin. Secondly, he says, a lump in the throat. You are so moved by listening to or chanting the glories of Bhagwan that there is a lump in the throat. Your voice catches in your throat. And thirdly, tears flow from the eyes. Tulsidas ji has specified this because he knows what is going to happen in the future. There are so many places where Ram Katha is being told. And so many people like to go there for entertainment. I am going to go and listen to that Katha Vachak because, he is so humorous. He is so funny. He takes a verse from the Ramayan and he gives it a very funny, very humorous interpretation. And once Sri Maharaj Ji shared a humorous explanation to give us an idea. There is a verse in the Ramayan that says, Koti koti muni yatan karahi ant ram kahi avat nahi. Meaning, the great sages and ascetics, the great rishis and munis, they recite the name of Ram. They make so many efforts to remember Bhagwan Sri Ram at the moment of death, but he does not come. Because unless you love him, he will not come to you. Milahi na raghupati binu anuraga, kiye jog jap gyan viraga. Bhagwan Ram appears only before those who love him. So the great meditators, they try to have the darshan of Bhagwan Sri Ram at the moment of death, but he does not go to them. That is the meaning of this verse. But the one who wishes to entertain the public says, I will tell you what this verse means. He says, you see, there was a muni, there was a sage, an ascetic. He went to a householder, he knocked at the door, And the householder says, "Who is it?" "Kotiko." That holy man comes into the courtyard of the house owned by the householder, and the householder asks, "Kotiko, who is this who has come over here?" And the sage, that holy man, says, "My name is T Muni." Because it's Koti Muni. So Kotiko and T Muni, who is there? He says, "My name is T Muni." And so everyone says, "Oh, that's so funny. Koti Muni. Kotiko, T Muni." Then they're anxious to hear, what does he have to say next? Well, then the householder says, "What are you doing over here?" T Muni says, "I am hungry. Yatana karahi." Arrange for a karahi, a wok, in which I can cook something, make puri and kachori. And the householder says, "Go somewhere else. Ant, go somewhere else." T Muni says, "I'm not going." And the householder says, "Should I come and give you a sound beating?" And T Muni says, "Nahi. No, I'm leaving." Koti Muni yatana karahi, ant ram kahi avat nahi. The householder says, "Avat, should I come?" The Muni says, "Nahi, I'm leaving." And all is well. And people say, "Oh, how humorous he is. How funny, and I've had such a great time." That Ramayan Katha was just so amusing. What did you learn from it? I just passed a couple of hours. I didn't learn anything. No. Ram Katha. It is important to hear it because it will truly cleanse our mind. It will purify the heart. It is not just for entertainment. It is to attain divine bliss. When we hear the divine story and the divine pastimes of Bhagwan Sri Ram, and when we hear the divine knowledge that Bhagwan Ram has given through Sant Tulsidas, then that knowledge enters through the ears and goes to the mind, and it goes to the heart. It cleanses the mind and it purifies the heart. It has to be heard again and again. The scriptures say, "Avritti rasakridu padeshat." Listen to the divine teachings again and again. One day you're listening, we listen to the divine teachings. One day we listen and we are feeling annoyed. We are annoyed due to some reason. The mind is troubled because of so-and-so saying such and such a thing to us. The mind is troubled. The divine teachings of the Ramayan, they don't impress us that day. They don't hit home. So we listen again on another day. That day, the mind is very mischievous and we don't get anything much. So we should listen again. And that day, the mind behaves itself. And now we are able to contain the teachings of the Ramayan very effectively. And that day, we change. You never know when you're going to change. We never know when the mind is going to receive the divine teachings properly. And so we should listen again and again. Listening once is not enough. We just never know when someone's words are going to affect us very positively and very strongly. Sant Tulsidas was affected very positively and very, very strongly by the words of his wife. And yes, he was a married man. His wife's name was Ratnavali, and Tulsidas ji, before he became a saint, he was very attached to his wife. So attached that one day he had gone somewhere, and when he reached home, he found that his wife was not there. His neighbors told him that his wife had left for her parents' village due to some reason. And she had left a message that she would be back in a few days. But Tulsidas ji was so attached to his wife that he could not bear separation from her. So he made plans that very evening to travel to his in-laws' house. The problem was that His in-laws lived on the other side of the river. But this did not discourage Tulsidas Ji. And the fact that it was a very stormy evening did not dissuade him in the least. There was no one there to take him to the other side. No boatman was prepared to do this. No one was willing to endanger his life. So no one was willing to take him across, but this did not dissuade Tulsidas Ji either. He found, in the darkness, he found a plank, and he used it as a barge to take him across the river. He succeeded. And then when he went to his in-laws' house, he was too embarrassed to knock at the door. What would his in-laws think? This man is so attached to his wife that he could not wait, so he was embarrassed. He knew his wife's room was on the second floor and how to reach there. But he was so attached to his wife that nothing was going to stop. So he managed to find a piece of rope. And using the piece of rope, he climbed to the second story, knocked at the window. His wife opened the window, and to say the least, she was surprised. She was extremely surprised, to say the least. What are you doing here in the middle of the night? Well, later on, it was discovered that it wasn't a wooden plank that Tulsidas Ji had used. It was a corpse that had become stiff in the cold waters of the Yamuna. Tulsidas Ji was so blinded by attachment to his wife that he thought a dead body, a stiffened dead body, to be a wooden plank. And it wasn't a rope that he had climbed with, it was a snake. He had used a snake as a rope. He was so blinded by the attachment to his wife that he did not notice how much that snake writhed in pain. As a grown man used its body as a rope to climb to the second story of a house. Tulsidas Ji did not notice all of this because of his attachment. When his wife saw him, she did not react like most women would have reacted. She was not flattered. She was pained to see the extreme attachment that her husband had for her. So she said to him, she was a very wise woman. She said, हाड़ मांस की देह मम तापर जितनी प्रीत तिसु आधो सो राम संग अवसि मिटई भव भीत. You foolish man. So much attachment you have for this cage of flesh and blood. If you had half as much attachment to Bhagwan Sri Ram as you do to this body of mine, then you would have attained liberation by now. These words from Ratnavali affected Tulsidas Ji very greatly. He asked her to repeat what she had said. She did so. And these words changed Tulsidas Ji's life completely around. Completely. He left that very instant. After bowing down to his wife, he left and he went out in search of Bhagwan Sri Ram. And he became a saint. In the very same lifetime, he wrote the Ramayan. He had the darshan of Bhagwan Sri Ram. He had the darshan of Lord Hanuman. He was so affected by the words of his wife. Words are very, very powerful. They can affect us greatly, and they do so. And so it is so important to listen to Ram Katha again and again. Today I am just giving you the background in listening, why it is important to listen to Ram Katha and how we should listen to it. At many places all over the world, wherever there are Hindus, Ramayana is being recited. So people must be thinking, how is this Ram Katha going to unfold? Is it that we are going to recite the Ramayana verses? Is it that we are going to recite a part of the Ramayana? The Ramayana is divided into 7 kand, 7 sections. There are 7 sections in the Ramayana, and many people like to recite the Sundar Kand. And they can recite it in a couple of hours. Are we going to do Ram Katha like that? Oh no. Because oftentimes when people recite the Ramayana, they're in a rush to get it done. It's a chore. Just like they wash dishes, it's a chore. Just like they cook, it's a chore. Just like they clean the house, it's a chore. In the same way, I'm going to recite the Ramayana. It's a chore. And let's get it done in 2 hours. Let's get the whole Ramayana done in a week. We must recite it. And when it comes towards the end, and people are feeling the pressure, I must recite it very fast, then they bring the one man or the woman who recites it very fast. They say, now let's bring him out because he's a very fast talker. And then there he goes. They say, now we're going to get it done in time because it's a chore. We're going to get it done. We have put ourselves on a schedule. We're not going to do Ram Katha like that. Because our spiritual master, Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, has taken us away from that. Chances are that many people used to do it like this. I'm going to recite the Ramayan Katha. I'm going to recite the Bhagavad, and I'm going to do it in a hurry. So it seems like they're going to miss the train or they're going to miss the plane. It has to be done in a hurry. We're not going to be in a hurry. This is why it's not going to be done in one day. I'll be here tomorrow and the day after. It's going to take place over the week, and we are going to conclude with the Ram Navmi celebration, a grand celebration of Ram Navmi, Bhagwan Ram's divine birth. We are going to commemorate that. So I do not want any listener to think that just this one day of listening to something about Bhagwan Ram is enough. Ram Katha must be heard again and again, and I have not even started it. Tomorrow I am going to talk about who Bhagwan Ram is. Who is Ram? What is the meaning of the word Ram? There is so much confusion in the world that Ram and Krishna are different. Who is Bhagwan Sri Ram? What is his relationship with Bhagwan Sri Krishna? We will go into the Ramayana, no doubt, but we will go into the other scriptures as well, because remember, the Ramayana is a simplification of the Vedic philosophy. The Ramayana is no less than the Vedas. The Vedas are the ultimate source of knowledge for all humans, and the Ramayana is no less than the Vedas. Many people think that the Vedas are in Sanskrit and very high Sanskrit, so the Vedas are the highest, and the Ramayana is in the common language of the people. It's in Hindi and Avadhi, so it is at a lower level. It is not. The Ramayana is no less than the Vedas. And we are going to discover tomorrow who Bhagwan Ram is through the Ramayana, through other scriptures, and mainly through the grace of Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, and of course, Sant Tulsi Das, who has blessed us with the story of Ram in Hindi. There are other versions of the Ramayana. There's Valmiki Ramayana, for instance. There's Adhyatma Ramayana, for example. And these are written in the language that most scriptures of Hinduism are written in, and that is Sanskrit. But the Tulsikrit Ramayana has gained greatest amount of popularity because it is written in the common vernacular of the people. I am so blessed to have the opportunity to recite Ram Katha in this beautiful dham that belongs to Bhagwan Sri Ram, in Radha Madhav Dham, because Radha and Madhav are non-different from Sita and Ram. I can truly say that this is the abode of Sita and Ram. And I am blessed, and we are all blessed to be here in Radha Madhav Dham to listen to Ram Katha.